There we go. Hi, welcome in.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes.
All right, cool.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us.
Certainly, certainly. Thanks for having me. It's pretty
Yes.
cool.
Yes, we were so excited when you agreed to come on because we have been obsessed with your backlog and then your recent releases. So we're like, okay, we need him on.
Well, thank you, thank you. Don't mind my dark room.
It adds to the ambiance because you're
Yeah,
always so mysterious in your books and playing that, scary MMC, so it fits.
exactly.
All right. Well, while everybody funnels in, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. I am Justin Price by actual name, but I narrate as Ryan Stone, which is really all about the Audible algorithm. Try to keep the flows separate. Um, what do you want to know? I've been at this narration game since around 21. Um, just really started to kind of get the flow of romance, and then that's started to pick up a lot in the past year and a half. And my background is IT stuff, so this is all this performance stuff. I did a couple of plays coming up, but really this performance stuff is all brand new. It was just a result of wanting to do something fun.
Really?
Yeah,
I was expecting you to have like a background in theater or
I
something, but IT threw me for a loop.
yeah. I always wanted to. I was a very shy, nervous kid growing up, so the thought of it would enter my mind, and I'd be like, nope, I'm gonna do something else. Follow down the path of computers because I could bury myself in a dark room, and now I can do the same and speak into a microphone.
There you
Yeah, yeah.
go. And what made you decide to take this route and become a voice actor?
So I play video games a lot.
Okay.
Um, uh, I specifically was playing The Last of Us, if you're familiar with it. Uh, Troy Baker, he's just incredible in everything he does. And I was playing it and I'm like, I could do this. I could really do this. And then I started like researching video games and getting into video games, and it turns out it's a lot of work. And it's really more, you really need to live in California for like the big AAA stuff. You need to live out there because that's just where, they do in studio recording, you actually do the live capture, live motion capture stuff there. And there are opportunities with like indie games and stuff like that. But I, I was just making a run at it. I was coaching with stuff in, because commercials and stuff like that is really kind of where the money is, unless you really make it as video games or animation and stuff like that. So I was like going down the commercial path, but I was on this website, Voice 123, and that's where I found an audiobook audition. And I had been getting some little things here and there of just other, like I got a commercial or something, like a small little commercial and things like that, like explainer videos for companies. But I saw this audiobook for it was a thriller. And it was my first audiobook audition, and I ended up getting the part. And I did it. I had to turn it. I had to read the book beforehand, prep, do the prep for it, record it, edit it, master it, everything in like 4 weeks.
Oh
And
my
my first ever audiobook, and trying to figure all that out was a nightmare. I hated every second of it. And then after the smoke cleared and I got the thing done, I like a couple weeks, like immediately after, I'm never doing that again. And then a couple weeks later, I'm like, all right, I could maybe do that again. I don't think I'll do the editing. And then like another couple of weeks later, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do this again. And then I got my next book, and just they just started coming in. Um, did a lot of coaching, tons of coaching. Maybe a little too much coaching. If you ask some other folks who said it's better to just kind of learn by doing, and I have discovered that learning by doing has been where it's at for me. Um, uh, but but obviously you gotta get some idea of how to do the thing.
Right.
So coaching is a very good start. But then at some point you have to stop being afraid and jump off and just do the dang thing. Um, and yeah, that's a little history.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
still stuck on that because I'm like, oh my god, the way I would have cried under pressure. Like recording, I would have been in tears. Like, oh my god, I can't mess this up because I'm gonna have to edit it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And they say to never edit your own, like, never go back and proof your own stuff because it's just so easy to miss stuff because like we get ingrained in a way of
Right.
saying things. And so when you say it that first time and you make a mistake and say it the first time, you're probably not going to catch it the second time because it's just kind of like your brain is kind of rewritten those words. But you had to do what you had to do. um,
And you got it done, so props
yeah,
to
yeah,
you.
yeah. It went well. It went
I
well.
can only imagine after like the amount of relief that you would have felt hitting like submit. You're like, all right, I'm done. Never see
Yeah,
that project again.
yes, never.
Do you remember that book title?
I do. It was the Killing Game. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, The Killing Game by Kate Bold.
Okay.
Um, it was, I think her. It was a debut for a character. I ended up passing on the second book because I didn't want to do the editing, and I asked for a little bit more to pay for somebody, and they didn't want to do it, and I was just like, all right, well, unfortunately, that's just too much for me because
You're
they
like,
wanted
yeah.
the same time frame and all that, and I
Oh
had learned more,
god.
but yeah, I just decided for me at that time it was not
Right.
right to pursue.
Yeah, I
Looking
had
back,
no
I probably would have
idea.
just gone for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
no idea what went into an audiobook. I don't know. I guess for me as a reader, I just pictured you guys like sitting next to each other in a booth and then like everything goes perfectly
yeah,
and you guys
yeah,
just like pick up with each other. And it wasn't until we started this process that like we found out behind the curtain. And I'm like, oh my God, these engineers are over here just like making this book so good by like
yeah,
editing and weaving everything. And you guys like half the time don't even know your co-narrator. You're
yeah.
only communicating through email. And I'm like, that's so fascinating because listening to you guys, I would think you're right next to each other.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's good because, yeah, with duet especially,
Hmm.
when you have the word, the lines interspersed with your co-narrator, it's kind of difficult because you're just typically you're not with bigger production companies might actually pull two people into a studio or just schedule some time for the process to happen over like Zoom or whatever. But most of the time, you're just like you do a click, you say the lines, and then you click where your partner's supposed to go. And yeah, I mean, they tell you who you're working with, and you do your best to communicate, and you do your best to match what their kind of style and feeling is. But ultimately, you're kind of in the dark about it. So it is good that it ends up working out. I haven't actually listened to any of my duet stuff. I don't really listen to a lot of duet stuff
Okay.
in general, but I haven't listened to any of my own duet stuff for sure. Um, so I don't really know. I never really know how it comes out sounding. So it's
You
interesting.
finish and run away.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. When I first started out, I was afraid to listen to myself. Um, so I never did because of that. Now it's just I don't have time. I have listened to one full book of mine, and then bits and pieces of a couple of other books. One book, uh, I like prepping it. I was crying, and then recording it. I was crying, and then afterwards, I was crying while I was listening to it. I just loved the book so much that I ended up listening to it again just to kind of see if I had done it justice. Uh, I think it was fine. I could I could certainly have done better, but hey, whatever. That's how we treat ourselves.
I discovered you through a romantasy,
Okay.
and it was, I'm blanking on the name now that I'm put on the spot, but it was basically like her soul was locked in somebody else's body and they were trying to figure it out, and you were the main male character, but also the villain.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you
Fun.
played it so well that I was getting upset when I would hear your villain voice
Nice.
because I was like, oh, it's this guy again. And then like you would come in as the MMC. I'm like, okay, he's back now. He's gonna fix everything. And then afterwards, I finished it. I'm like, it was the same person, and I'm over here mad at you one chapter, and then I'm like, yay, in the next.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't remember which one that is, but that's
It
cool.
was Crown. I'm trying to think of the name. But it was a whole series, and I was fortunate enough to get it through Blue Nose.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Oh, great.
I sign up for things that are just pretty covers because that's how I function.
Yeah. I'm the same way about
Right.
it, but
And it was really pretty. It had like oranges and yellows, and I was like, oh, that looks flowery. I bet it's so fun. And then I was like thrust into this like big fantasy world, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but I had a great time.
that's awesome.
And after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to find out more about his voice and his backlog. And then that's when I just started like going through. I found some of your MMs, and then you did No Service, which amazing. Like that book was dark.
So dark.
There was many times I was finishing it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, there were some times where I was working on it and I was like, oh damn.
Yeah. And I was so excited because I haven't really listened to you thrust in such a dark role, right? Like
Mm,
you were always a villain or something, and you were always gray, morally gray, but to see you pitch black was something I wasn't
mm.
ready for, and then to hear you pitch black, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was a ride."
Yeah, it was that was a fun one. We just did a thing with Blue Nose last night. A couple of other narrators and the author and Precious. I'm sure you
Yes.
might know who she is. Yeah, um, yeah. That was a good book. It was really interesting. It was cool to hear her take on it. She's big into horror, romance, like
Mm-hmm.
this erotic horror, um, and that was fun.
Definitely that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's
Good
funny
book.
because I had read her previous books, so I kind of had the gist
Okay.
of it, right? And I talked to her, and so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be darker than the last ones, but I hadn't listened to her audiobooks yet. So this was the first one I had listened to, and I was like floored by the performances you guys did. And I was like, this is a lot darker hearing it than reading it because I'm like thrust in and you
Yeah,
guys act so well. And I was over here like, I'm kind of scared.
that's awesome.
So
Um,
how do you go from those mindsets from like a romantasy to like small town to something as dark as No Service?
um, it is really just about playing the character in the moment. And
Hmm.
sometimes that character is just a lord of a manor, some realm, and he's a vampire or whatever. Or sometimes you're thrust into a horrible situation with murderous, eyeball popping
Oh my
crazy.
gosh, yes, the eyeballs. I have never flinched so much about eyeballs until that book, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to like look at my own eyeballs ever again."
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the spots. I guess it's just because being blind would be horrible. I would imagine. That's one of the spots for me that has always been like scariest to think about. Plus, I watched this movie zombie forever ago, and there's this one really slow motion part of an eyeball being impaled on a wooden
No.
splinter of a door, and I was ever since then I've just been messed up about eyeballs.
And then you get thrust into this bucket and it's
Yeah.
all eyeball floppy.
Great. Yes, yes.
And did you read the whole book before you dove into this one?
Yeah, I am I do kind of skim through other parts. I try to read the entire book. In some cases you gotta skim. I have to skim to find the time. But I always want to know kind of what informs the other characters and what they're up to, so I know kind of where I'm at
Hmm.
mentally. But there were there were parts. The one part where I realized that this was a different book was when he's popping open the jar and they're going fishing, and that was like, all right, this is not what I was thinking it was. Despite all the triggers that I definitely saw before I started, this
Right.
is still not what I expected at all.
I know when we talked to her, she was saying how like this one was going to be darker, and I was like, okay, it's going to be fine. And I don't ever read trigger warnings or blurbs. I just dive in, and I was about to message her and be like, girl,
What have you done?
you right? It was the Crown Lord. I finally found it. That's where I
Wow.
found you from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a good.
So you play like multiple people in that one and have different personalities, and I thought it was so fun how angry I was at you, and then I was like, if you guys are not endgame by chapter 16, I'm gonna throw this book.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I pissed you off.
Definitely. And I was talking to Book Club about it all the time because I actually thought I had heard your voice before and it was driving me insane. So I was asking them through Book Club, I'm like, okay, we've heard him before. He's on something else before. I know it. I just can't put my finger on it. And we never found out where we originally heard you from. But it was driving us crazy. So I wasn't sure if you narrated under another name.
Connor, I did a book under a name Connor Hayes, who's
Okay.
my he was going to be a different, like a separate, like more erotic, and then one of the producers I worked with was like, you don't really need that. You don't need two, unless you're really really wanting to keep it separate for your own personal
Right.
preferences or whatever like that. But for me, it was all about, just like I said, the Audible algorithm and kind of keeping
Right.
that separate. So if you're looking for a Justin Price book, you don't find a Ryan Stone book and be like, what is this?
What is
This
And
isn't
what do
what
you
I'm interested
narrate
in.
under Justin? What type
So
of
that's
genre?
like thrillers and literary fiction and
Okay.
uh, um, I've done clean romance under that. Anything closed door. But yeah, he's kind of just me, Justin. I'm just all the just normal books, and then romance I keep separate, just because when you're browsing through Audible and you come across the two different names,
You're right.
yeah, it's funny because like every once in a while I'll pop around and see another narrator that I know who goes under and I'll hear their real voice. And I won't say anybody, of course, who, but it's just like, wait a second, that's that guy. I know that guy. Um, so I wonder, I often wonder if anybody ever like does that, and they're like, wait a second, who's that guy?
Well, that was us because I listened to it. I don't know how many times I restarted that audiobook and I'm like, okay, I'm going to slow it down because I listen at two times speed. So I slowed it all the way down. I'm like, okay, I have heard him before. And I was going through my Goodreads and I was like, I don't see him. So I was like, okay, he's pulling a Houdini on me. He did something. I loved it. Now I can't find it.
Not the way of it.
And it was driving us insane. So I was like, I'm just gonna ask him when we talk to him if he did another name, and then now I'm gonna go look at that one
Yeah, Connor
under a
Hayes.
different name.
He
Like,
was
oh,
uh, uh, Charlene Namdari. I only did him. I did 3 books under his name.
okay,
Charlene Namdari, I think it was. Infallible series.
Ooh.
Something I'm blanking on the names right now, but yeah, those were good. They were really good. I wish now that they were just under Ryan Stone, because Connor Hayes has gone by the wayside. Um, and also I kind of dropped him because Connor Crace exists, and like,
Right.
it's too close. Uh, so whatever.
And you said you did a lot of coaching. Did you find that very helpful in the beginning of narration?
Yeah, it helps you kind of weave um, the business side of things, depending on who you're going with. Certain coaches, focus more on the business side of things, and
Mhm.
that was probably the best thing for me to get the kind of the bearings of that, because I had no background in any of this stuff, so I didn't know how voice stuff worked versus audiobook stuff. I didn't even have an idea of like even just regular audition stuff, you know. Um, so it was really good to get a breakdown of like how the producers and the publishers and all that stuff works. The acting stuff was different because I had no background in acting. Then I get like the fire hose of all the acting coaching. Um, and you can only really pull out so much at one time to kind of like
Mhm.
work on. And was that's kind of like where I was. So every evolution was me picking up something else from another coach here, another coach there, who said something exactly like what the other person said, but this just kind of clicked at that time in that place for me. Um, so I think maybe I wouldn't have done as much performance coaching right off the gate,
Okay.
um, and maybe would have just spent some more time like thinking about the process and just sitting in my booth and recording whatever, even if it wasn't a book,
Mhm.
to just get a feel for how to do the work and um, how to record, beyond just beyond just the reading of the book, but also like the process of doing the recording and all that stuff. um but I think it's also important not to live in a vacuum, right? Make sure that somebody is listening to your work,
Mhm.
that can say, oh no honey, don't do that.
No, I
um
really loved your work, and you had such a vast variety of roles in so many genres. I mean, you did MM, you did mafia, you did fantasy, you did horror.
yeah,
Is there a genre that you haven't done that you want to do?
I haven't done I have done rom-com, but I love rom-com. I love comedy.
Mhm.
I love comedy. I love horror. Those are like my main genres of stuff that I do just in general life. I have done some rom-coms, but I would love to do more rom-coms. I kind of fall into that dark category just because of
Yep.
my kind of just nature is like the serious guy, um, and the gravelly voice, that kind of lends to that side as well. But yeah, I would love to do more rom coms. I'm working myself. I'm trying to like to get to loosen up a little bit and let go of the is its nerves ultimately, right?
Right.
So let go of that and really try to play more with the characters that live in rom com, because rom com is obviously a lot more ridiculous, a lot more, like you got the crazy side characters,
Yes.
the grandmas who have no filters, who I love them. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like variety. I like having a variety, kind of a background that lends to doing more stuff, because I think it breaks up the fact that it's romance by being different in different capacities. Because a romantasy is the same ultimately as a rom com, but you get two different worlds, you get two different types of styles. So it lends to some fun stuff.
I
Yeah.
know, I was just thinking a dark rom-com because you have such a villain voice, but like to see you play like a ridiculous villain would be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like
Yeah, that's what I
off
want.
the
That's what
wall
I was saying.
comments
A
or
dark
something.
rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we dove recently into some dark rom-coms and they have the most like dry type of humor,
Hmm.
but it's often like you're not expecting it or like it's just like the off the wall kind of situation and it takes us a pause, like we can't stop laughing, but like we have to pause and be like, hold on, did they actually just put that in a book and make this
Yeah.
poor human read this? Like,
Yeah.
let me rewind it for a second. And when they do, we're like, oh my God, it's real.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna have to get you into one of those books. We're gonna have to see you in one of those.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will let you know if it happens. I actually got an email today about potentially a rom-com, dark rom-com. Speaking
Oh,
of which,
yay! See, we're manifesting it for you.
yes, yeah.
And I was looking through your backlog because you did fantasy. I was looking for a monster romance. Have you done a monster romance?
I've done a series three. There were little novellas for Layla Faye.
Okay.
Um, there's an Ice King and a Lich King and a Orc King. Wed to the Ice King, wed to the Orc King, wed to the Lich King. Yeah, those were good. Those were really good books. And my co-narrator was really good on those. Very good.
I love monster romances, and I'm really picky about who plays like the big burly monster. So I was like, whenever I get a chance, I'm like, are you guys gonna do a monster romance? Like, you gonna play a minotaur or like a 7 foot alien? I'm just curious. And
Yes.
it usually throws people. I'm like, I'm just curious because then I could go put it on my TBR if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
what
They're
have you found? Oh, go ahead.
no, they're fun. That's all.
What have you found was the most difficult about getting into the audiobook world?
Um, for me, it is
Mhm.
the reaching out part, which I still am struggling with. Just because I've been staying consistently busy. I'm booked out to like September at this point, which is good for me. At first, it wasn't quite that way, and it's been growing and all that. So because of that, I have lacked on the reaching out part because stuff is thankfully, knock on wood, been coming my way without me having to reach out. But that means that the big five people that I'd love to do more books for, whatever that might be, are
Mhm.
not don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them out there, a couple of the producers and stuff that I have had chances to read for that are aware of my presence, but then I don't do the reach outs, and then yeah. So that's probably the hardest part is committing to the schedule and doing the
Mhm.
thing and selling yourself and letting them know that you are worthy. Damn it.
Yes. And have you done many accents, or how do you go about getting accents into your arsenal for narration?
Um, it is. I kind of started out that whole like wanting to do something acty, but never actually doing anything with it. Kind of lent to me just naturally for whatever reason picking up accents. So I came in with a pretty decent grasp on a lot of accents right out the gate, um, just because I'd be weird and do things for my family. Um, and and then and where was I going? Oh yeah, so coming in with that, I have no like formal training on the accent, so it's more of like an ear thing. So it has been a whole process of kind of like picking up a new accent has come down to like having to figure out really how to get an accent right,
Mhm.
like changing the act, like the minuscule things that differ about an accent, but identifying what those are, and
Mm-hmm.
then taking, now that you know how to change it, putting it and applying it to words that are coming out of your mouth while you're trying to focus on reading a book. Um, but that is there's like accenthelp.com is invaluable because they have just about every accent that you could imagine. Um, and you can, you I think it's like 25 or $30 per group. It's like a bundle of accents, so it's not just
Oh
like
wow.
one. If it's Russian, it's going to fall under the Slavic um, bundle. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like you're paying for nothing. For You're not paying just for Russian for $30. You're getting your money's worth, and he breaks it down so well. A plug for him, but he just everything he includes with that package is just like wonderful. But then there's also the IDEA website, which is an acronym. I forget what it is, but you can go there, and they do basically the same thing, but they actually like collect. They don't really break it down, but they collect accents from around the world. They've got
Oh wow.
tons, um, and they have like a script. They have a script that they have each person read, like a set script about comma the duck. And then they kind of like do a little interview snippet too. So you get this little script, or this script has all the phonetic sounds.
Okay.
So you can pick out all of the weird sounds that change by
Mm-hmm.
accent. You can find them all in there, so you can then apply those. But then at the same time, you kind of get the grasp of how they speak in general, which is very important. Um, as well as so like getting, because I say that because like Irish, right, is almost like a vibe on how they do their things. So like you have
Mm-hmm.
a th will sometimes be tapped, or sometimes it'll be almost silent. Tapped being like a very tight ta, or sometimes it'll almost be silent. It's really just a matter of the speaker themselves, and sometimes they don't even do it themselves consistently, one speaker to the next. Um, so so yeah, so getting the vibe for how a person speaks, but then also learning that accents are all about like placement in the mouth, because one person famously pointed out, uh, PJ accent. He's also an accent coach. I'm forgetting his name right now, but anyway, he pointed out that like an Australian accent and a um, uh, Cockney British accent are basically the exact same, but one is placed toward the front of the mouth with your tongue, like you hit the front of your mouth, and the other one is placed toward the back of the mouth.
Oh
So
wow.
you can, just by varying the placement of your tongue, the words are almost pronounced the same exact way, but it changes the whole feeling of the two accents to be completely different accents.
Wow.
And it passes mostly. But
I didn't know that. I always am so baffled when you guys do accents because I'm pretty sure one of the books that I listened to you did Russian,
yeah,
and it was like I heard you do like this grovelly fantasy, and then like I think it was like the next book you're Russian. I was like, okay, same guy.
yeah, Russian is one of my favorites. Russian, Cockney, English. Um, I don't know. I just enjoy to do a Russian accent. It's a fun time, if you know what I mean. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I love doing accents because for a character's voice should never be about an accent. Like that should never be what defines them. That's almost like the last thing that you put on a character. But it also really helps to distinguish a character from one to the next. Um, Plus, Russians are almost always crazy, so you get to like
You,
lean into
your
that.
character was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It was just funny because I had, like I'd switch and it opened with the MMC and he was very soft spoken and then it switches to you and you're just like this mean mafia Russian man. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't ready. But I was so impressed how you did the accent. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't do accents. I would get too lost in like the tongue placements. And I'm like, did I put it over there? Did I do it wrong? Did I switch it up? Now I have to go back. So for me, I'm always fascinated how you guys do that and keep that in your head when you're recording like an 8 hour book. And you're
Mm,
constantly like making sure you're putting your tongue where it needs to be and like making sure the vowels have this and the vowels have that.
yeah.
So I'm always impressed how you guys just have that. And you do so many too. So I'm like, how do you not get them intertwined or forget which one you're doing?
There are times, especially when it comes to Irish, I can do an Irish accent, but when I'm really in it and in a book and I'm doing a bunch on a book, it will it inevitably wants to switch to Scottish for me. Uh, it's because I can do like one like a character, just having a few lines here and there, but when you have to like sit and actually like do it for a long period of time, it wants to bleed because there's so much similarity between like Scottish, but Irish into like English, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of similarities, that and when you're in, like you said, when you're in it for like 8 hours or
Yeah.
like 6 hours a day, your brain stops. It's just like, what are we doing again, man? Could you like go outside or something?
Well,
Uh,
that's why I'm always curious because I can only imagine how many hours you're putting in, a day because you seem very busy and you're every time I look at a release, I see your name on it. So I'm like, oh, hey, he has another one. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, how do you keep track of not only the characters, especially when you're doing a series because you're doing the same characters and then you always play like a villain or a side character and you
mhm.
keep that same voice like on book four. And I'm like, he's putting out books left and right. How does he remember, like, hey, I was so and so with this pitch in that book, the side character that appeared once in chapter one. And now I'm in his book where he's the main character and I have to match book one side character.
Yeah, those are those are always the hardest.
Hmm.
Like when a character from a previous book comes in and has their own book now, because especially when you don't do like, when you don't heed the fact that that happens a lot. So you'll make this goofy character, right? That you're not expecting anything from, and then all of a sudden they got their own book, and no one wants to listen to your goofy character in there, talking about how they want to do this and that to somebody. Uh, uh, so those are always tricky. So it is important to go like, however goofy you go on a character, that you still kind of make them sexy, right?
Right.
If there's a chance that they're coming back, like obviously grandma or grandpa is not going to end up as an MMC, but
You know
them
what?
we
I
can
would
go
read it.
crazy
I
with.
would be curious. Like, what is Grandpa's story? I'm curious now.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah. I. It's kind of like a matter of just, I keep a clip of every character's voice in a series. I'll keep like a Bible, just a side MP3 or whatever, um, and just keep that little section. And every time I need, sometimes I will refer to it every single time that person has a line, because it's just like that voice for some reason is not picking up for me. That's usually when I haven't done the work that I am supposed to do as a narrator and think about the character and really develop them. When they're a side character, sometimes it's just hard to do that. uh, Depending on the level of how, main they are, like how, if they're secondary, you put a lot more work into it. But like a standard old, just going to show up for 4 or 5 lines and never see him again. But then you have to be careful because that guy might show up and then have his own book next time.
Yep, I was just gonna say because I remember you as one of the side characters, and then by time I think I was on book four or five, you were more prominent, and I was like, hold on, I know who this is, and then I was like, wait, let me. So I went back into my review, and I had mentioned like I really liked the side character, and I was like, that's who you were. I knew I remembered who you were. Because it's always like that one side character that you think is innocent, and then he comes back and he was like the mastermind of everything. And I'm like, like I knew you were fishy.
Excellent.
No, I was so fascinated with your work and your variety that we dove into so many of your works and your backlogs. And then when we discovered you did some horror, we were like, oh, okay, now we can dive even deeper. And I'm pretty sure I was scared to go to sleep after listening to No Service. I had to like put on like a princess movie and like be able to like calm down because like I was like I don't want to close my eyes because all I picture is the eyeballs and the jars. And I was like, I'm just gonna need to go listen to him in something else before we talk to him. So like that's all I'm gonna picture. And then I have to submit my the princess yes. And submit my therapy but like, hi, you made me so scared to go to sleep.
Is that
This is your
nude?
where is he slept? No, May. And would you mind if is it okay if I bring up the rest of book club? I know we're kind
Oh,
of
no,
like itching to
certainly.
talk to you. She slept like a baby. I was over here like, oh my gosh, Princess Ariel. Let me watch this before I go.
Oh my god.
You really were
Oh,
fine
hi.
with the eyeballs? Like what?
Well, I finished the ALC just last night and I was fine with it because I've read horror. I've read horror a lot. So this wasn't really anything new for me, but I was a bit shocked. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. I was like, this is a lot of cliches going on here. What is going on? For like the like old like 80s kind of horror
Oh yeah, so much,
classics.
Mm.
so
But
much cooler.
then the fact it wasn't it wasn't a HEA was like definitely different.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, or as Krista put it last night, it was an HEA for some people, not so much for the
Yes.
people you're expecting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was twisted. It was a twisted one. She's creepy. No, she's awesome.
You know what? I think that's the book she was talking about. Like she was getting flagged for Googling stuff.
Oh
And
yes,
she
yeah, yeah,
was
she was.
she was like, I can't be Googling this anymore for my books because I'm over here being flagged. And I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad because I didn't receive the arc yet. And I was like, could it be that bad? And then I listened and I was like, oh my God, Krista, it was that bad.
That's
Oh
good.
my gosh. But is there a character that you have narrated that has stuck with you throughout the years?
Um, there, yeah. So there's a couple of them. Most recently was Dean from. I'm just blanking on it right now. What was his name? What was that movie? What was the book name? He was the mute. He's a mute. He was injured in a.
What we need.
Yes, thank you,
What we
thank you, thank you.
need by
What we
Lizzie.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah. From
You
Lizzie
made me
Stanley.
cry.
That was.
You made me cry with that one.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
He's not sorry in the slightest. He's like, oh, I didn't. You're welcome.
um, no, that one really hit me because for the obvious reason of what happened, his background,
Hmm.
and being just kids. I got kids, and one of them's in high school now. Ever since like Columbine and all the craziness that has gone on, it's been one of those things for me that I've been very empathetic toward.
Mm.
Sort of be in a moment where um, to going through that. Um, yeah, that was that was a good one. Um, and then there was another one. Uh, what the Silence Say. It's not actually. It's a historical fiction, but definitely got romance in it, laced throughout. Um, and that one is two brothers. One of them goes off to war, um, and leaves behind a wife. But it's that was a beautiful one, and that one, and What We Need took. I had to take breaks just because they're the feeling the emotion of it, just bawling in my dark little room here, having to step out and all that. That kind of like trauma bonded me to them. Ray is the name of the character from What the Silence Say, and yeah, those are
I
them.
am always curious because you guys do such deep roles and you guys get so vastly into your characters. So when you're performing those emotional scenes, especially in like the darker romance, the more trauma based romances,
Mhm.
I'm always curious how you yourself handle that mentally and emotionally because for us readers, I mean, we sometimes have to take breaks and we get
Right.
so entranced with a character that we feel all the emotions. So I can only imagine someone that is putting themselves into that character to deliver that, how you manage that.
Yeah, it's for me, as I've said, I'm relatively new to this whole performance thing. So for me, it has been um, a matter of really prepping um, to get to that point to understand them. So when I prep a character, I'm more, or when I prep a book, I'm more about like the technical aspects of it. But in that way of kind of figuring out who a character is and all that stuff, and where the story beats go and what's the important parts. So in doing all that, it's kind of removed from that process, and then I start to read. So for me, if I don't do that part of the process, then when I'm actually doing the recording, I'm doing the more technical stuff in that moment, and so I'm not quite as connected. Um, but so for me, getting through all that stuff, figuring out who this character is and what their passions are and their purpose, and then um, and then really going at it um, in the in the booth. And yeah, and I have to stop. There are times where I've had to stop because I can't get a line out. Um, and so I do. I'll take a moment. I'll take a breather. I'll step out. Maybe I'll take a lunch. Maybe I'll just have a coffee. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like when a book can make me cry. I think it's really special to me, and I've done it. It hasn't happened a ton, and that's not that a book isn't good by any means. It's just that particular book really resonated with me. Um, it hit me in a way that I was able to go there emotionally and really feel it. And I don't think a book, like I said, a book is not bad because it doesn't hit me in that way. And I still do my best to convey the emotion and convey what the author intends for the listener or reader to feel. And I work my hardest on every book, but some of them just hit me in the feels a little harder.
That makes me feel better because I feel like I am such an easy crier. Like, the main character that I bonded with for 200 pages stubs their toe, I'm instantly in tears. Like, are they okay? So, when something intense happens, I am in the fetal position, crying, bawling my eyes out. I'm yelling at the author. And then I immediately blaming you guys because I was like, it's your guys' fault that it hit me so much harder because you guys have like, your voice cracking, the emotion in your voice. And I'm like, now I'm like empathetic and I'm over here bawling my eyes out. I was like, Ryan's sad, so now I have to be sad. So it's good to hear that you're feeling that with me because I was over here like, am I crazy for this? But then May can turn in her therapy bill too, so that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I'll collect those
So,
after the show.
See, I told you he wasn't sorry. It was a front. He wasn't sorry for it. No, I really like the characters that you play, and like I said, they're so diverse and they're so fun. How do you end up balancing being an audiobook narrator and then having your personal life? How do you balance the both? Because you put out a lot of books.
Yeah, I'm finding it harder and harder as I'm trying to pack the schedule a little fuller. Every year I've been doing more books and more books, and it's starting to get a little hectic.
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of, like I've dropped when I first started this, I was doing the social media thing way more, um, because I had the time, and I was, eager and filling the gap and doing the practice stuff on here on TikTok, like they do somebody does a script or whatever, like a read that you duet with. Um, so I was trying to do more of this social media stuff, but now something had to give, something had to go, and that has fallen by the wayside because it's spending time with the family whenever I can when I'm not in the booth, and as I do more in the day. So an average hour of recorded work for me is I'm closer to the 3 hour. So 3 hours in the booth, 2.5, 3 hours in the booth is just one finished hour of audio. So if I'm packing in 2 hours, that's potentially 6 hours of booth time. And then I work a full time job as well, as an IT director still. Uh, so it's whenever I can find the time to get out of here and go sit with the family and do that stuff, I do. Um, and yeah, and then that's also kind of why the reach outs have dropped off.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Busy, busy, busy. That's what I was
Busy, busy,
wondering
busy.
because
Which is
you
good.
put
I
out
mean, I cannot
quite a bit of
complain.
books. So I'm like,
Yeah,
how is he
yeah,
balancing everything?
yeah. I cannot complain. I am very fortunate. It's a tough business,
Mhm.
for sure. So I'm very fortunate, and I thank everybody involved that's gotten me this far.
And May, did you have any questions?
not not really any questions per se, but I would that like it was only just last year that I had gotten onto like Blue Nose ALCs, and I actually one of the books that I had gotten was one of yours. I was listening to you for the first time, and it was the Crow Lord, and it was all in the Crow Lord and the Sunchild, and it was all done in third person, but they're narrating it, and it's like this is a new experience. I usually have them in the first person
Hmm.
POV, so
Mm.
and and then listening to Confession being an MM mafia book, and
That was a, that was a good one.
yeah, What We Need, and then recently No Service. The way you narrate all these different characters, they're never the same. I always hear that you tweak the way you tweak your voice for all of them. How you can, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
losing English badly. They're never. Hi, Shiloh. That yeah, they're all. I enjoy listening to your books. Uh, they're very enjoyable.
That's good.
And
That's good 'cause it's difficult to like coming from this side of the mic. I always just feel like I am just saying the same stuff in the same way. So it's doing the work of finding the character. I'm glad it's working. I'm glad it's coming. It's coming out. That's awesome. It's good to hear.
yeah, while it is, yeah, your voice, I can hear, because I'm very picky and I do like to listen to like every little detail, even though everyone here, they can't understand how I can listen to everything at two speed and still manage to pick up those little nuances. And it's like,
The
yeah, my brain just runs very quickly. And it's like, yeah. But I can't wait to hear more of your books, and then I'm actually flying back to the US for Villains and Vixens, and I think that
nice.
you're one of
Yeah,
the narrators
this
there.
year. Yeah, yeah. In July. Yeah, I will be there. Yeah, which I was at the first one in Dallas last year, which was really, really good. Very well put together. And then this year we'll be in Orlando, Florida, which I am in Florida,
Yeah,
and that's perfect. I don't have to fly to Dallas.
I'm I'm nervous because for us here in Australia, it is winter. It's coming into winter time, and in
Okay.
July, it's the middle of winter. For you guys, that is summer,
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna
and it's like I don't do well in the
it's,
heat.
it's gonna be nasty. Be
No,
forewarned.
Oh
yeah,
no.
I've been told.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to get on the plane in like a t-shirt and shorts to come here, and then
yeah.
you're gonna have to get on the plane from the States in like a fur coat to go back home. Oh no. No,
Yeah.
but I understand what you were saying because it took me a couple double takes sometimes when I would go from different books from him because it would sound like you, but not quite like you. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's someone that's kind of close to him, but it's not him. I thought it was a different narrator, and then I would go back and look, and I'm like, okay, it's the same guy, but like you do tweak your voice a little bit to be distinct in your characters, not only in the book, but like in different series. And so I thought that was so unique because usually when I'm like hearing someone for a while, I'm like, okay, this is this person, or they do one of my favorite books. I can only visualize them as a certain character, and I'm like, oh, so and so is now playing this person. But with you, before I got intertwined with your voice, it was taking me a bit to pick and choose which one you sounded like, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the same person. I just need to go check.
That's a very high compliment, so I appreciate it very much. I love, I do love, it is subtle stuff, but I do love playing with the subtleties of characters and making sure that Mafia Guy A is not just in every book.
Right.
Yeah, and speaking of the third person versus the first person, that can be tricky because and she wrote it. She wrote it in a way that just it felt like first person already because there are times where a third person just you can tell that there's differences and it's outside the head and with that book Crowlord and the other one Sun King
Sunchild, yeah.
Sunchild, thank you. Yeah, she wrote it so inside the characters' heads that it almost was first person. But anytime we can, our whole goal is to kind of make a third feel like a first, especially when it comes to romance, because a lot of people, I have found a lot of people do not care for third. Even my wife does not read books that are in third person, which is it's very interesting to me because I've always just kind of like I know the differences obviously, but it's never phased me as a reader prior to doing all of this. But I totally get it in romance because in romance it is feeling characters' feelings, and sometimes you don't get that with third person as much or as hard. So yeah, She wrote it. She wrote it really well. She's great.
No,
Somebody
yeah,
have
I
a
don't know
bird.
about
I'm
you,
not
May.
opposed. Yeah, those are birds outside. I'm sorry.
No,
My
no, that's
headphones
I
cool.
picked
don't
up
know about
everything.
you, but
I feel
it took
nature
me a
right now.
long time to figure out that that book was in third person when I was listening to it. Because that was one of the first books I didn't immersive read, because usually I read and listen at the same time. I didn't with that one. And it took me about like 70% of the book to realize it was actually in third person.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
So I don't know
that's
if you picked up on it right away. I didn't, and I was like, oh, I
I
didn't even
I
notice.
it took I think it took me like halfway through the first chapter to
Oh,
realize what was going on.
do the
I'm not
best.
opposed to third person. It's just not what I'm used to. I'm always
mhm,
used to having it all be in first person, but I loved it all the same.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
I still felt the intensity and the emotions from the characters and the scenes that were happening.
yeah. She did a. That was a great book. That was a great series. She's a really awesome person. She was at Villains and Vixens, and I think she's going to be here. Be it the next one this year.
Yeah. And Raven as well, who
Yeah.
you
Yes, that's right.
co-narrated with
Yeah,
me
yeah.
too,
Yeah,
which I'm
we all three
excited.
got to meet. It was cool. Which Raven is phenomenal. She's a fantastic narrator.
And besides Villain and Vixens, do you have any other events that you have coming up this year?
Not anymore this year. I am hopefully returning to Kink and Ink, which I did just back in, what was that? I don't know. It was earlier this year. Um, I am thinking I'll be back there if they'll have me. But that was a lot of fun. Reminded me of Villains and Vixens. It was also a first time and was really well done, really well put together. Um, and the other ones, I know there's bigger ones, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've got the time to commit to it, but it's good. It's good stuff. They're a lot of fun. Meeting meeting authors is great. It's always fun when you get to meet an author that you've worked with, which I got to meet Krista at Kink and Ink, which was awesome, and she's going to be at
Awesome.
Villains and Vixens. Um, yeah. I don't know. I like doing them. I suffer from social anxiety, so I also hate doing them. You know what I mean? But but yeah, it's good times. I'm thinking of maybe going just to see. There's this uh, no, not erotic horror, but like horror convention later on this year that two authors that work together that I did a horror book for are going to be at, and one's from Australia and one is from Canada, and they're both coming into Portland, Oregon, and I'm really trying to make it to see them there because that would be fantastic to like get to because it's both of their first times in the states, so it's pretty awesome, pretty excited.
That
But
sounds
I
really
have
fun.
no plans on that one yet.
I'm always hoping people will come. I know I can't even say anything, May, you're in Australia, but I'm always like, come to the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. Jeez, like my first event was in Blue Nose, and that was in New Orleans last year. And that was my first time leaving Australia, going to the States, and then I went again in North Carolina in April for like a local indie authors event. And Villains and Vixens going to be my first like major book event to go to, which I'm
Nice.
excited for because not only am I meeting so many amazing authors, but the narrators as well that bring those books, to life as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Ashley,
Um,
did you have any questions?
right.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm so new to the audiobook world, but I thought hearing that you did Kate Gold's The Killing Game, that I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of piece the voices together now because
Right.
that wasn't under Ryan Stone, right?
Yeah, right. That
So,
was me.
yeah. So I was like, oh wow, okay, that would be where I have heard you when it comes to the dark romance stuff. I'm just diving into audiobooks, so but I am interested in reading the what is it, the Layla Faye monster romances now, so that'll be next on my list.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good. Short, spicy, perfect.
Exactly what we like. I do it to everybody that comes on here. I always try to persuade them to do a monster romance because that's my favorite genre. So I'm like, hey, if you guys haven't, would you consider doing?
Awesome.
Because some narrators just have like that perfect monster voice, and I'm like, you know what? You would make a great minotaur. And it's always a minotaur, Ashley. It's always a But
Is
tell
that
me I'm
your
wrong.
is that your monster of choice?
It tends to be,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but every time it's just like I find a monster and it always ends up being a minotaur. I'm like, maybe I do have a type. And they end up being my favorite character. I'm like, see,
There are
interesting.
there are many more awesome monsters out there besides.
I know, but it just so happens. Like, I was just listening to one, and it's about an apocalypse, and out of nowhere, a Minotaur shows up, and he ends up being my favorite character. I'm like, see? They just appear. It's like they know I want them. So it's not my fault. They just follow me. Maybe
Not
they're
a lot of
obsessed with me.
monsters can give you a ride, you know? Can give you a ride,
There you go.
you know?
See, he gets it. No, but we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I know you're extremely busy, but being able to find out more about you was so fun because we had been just diving into your backlog and we're like, oh my god, he has this vast variety. Like, how does this one man do so many characters? So being able to go behind the mic and be able to find out who you were just made us love your work even more. And we're so excited to find out really more about you and listen to more of your work. Would it be okay if we took a group photo? We like
Sure.
to commemorate the live.
Yes,
All
certainly.
right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Stop it. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Yes. All right. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure, and I cannot
Very
wait
much.
to dive into more of your work. Hopefully, a Minotaur soon.
We shall see. Manifest, manifest.
Manifesting, yes. And more dark rom-coms to come across your emails, hopefully.
Yeah. It was really
All right.
great talking to you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you so much. I
Thank you
hope
for
you have a
coming.
wonderful
Thank
rest of your
you.
night.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.